Hi everyone, Debbie here from emotionallysensitive.com. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I like to have some type of inspiration hit me so that I can bring something of value and of meaning to you when I'm doing these live streams. And I believe that has happened today, so I want to share something with you that I hope you'll find helpful. So, something that is new to me, and maybe it's not new to you, maybe this is something that you've been doing and practicing for a while now, and if you have been, you can let me know down in the comments below. This is live right now, so I can engage with you in real time. And what it is when you use poetry as part of your mindfulness practice and as part of a meditation. So either reading poetry or listening to poetry being read, it can be amazingly soothing and can really be an awesome catalyst for getting into a space of mindfulness and into a formal meditation practice that can be quite enjoyable. I think we imagine that we have to sit there and be really bored and, do things that are really uncomfortable, and sometimes that is part of practicing too, is being able to just sit with that, because we have moments of boredom and all sorts of things in our lives, and so mindfulness prepares us to deal more effectively with those things, because if we can sit through boredom and irritation and frustration in a mindfulness practice, then we can build up our mindfulness muscle and actually apply that same type of wisdom and that same type of increased ability to cope effectively when we're actually dealing with things, in our lives. Hi, Peggy. Oh, you got to join me live. Miss Peggy has been catching these on the replay and saying, oh my gosh, when are you doing another one? And I never know. So I'm so glad you're here in real time. Let's see what she says. She says, hi, Debbie. The poem you read in Monday's class was very, very soothing. I was actually just going to bring that up, Peggy. Thank you for mentioning that. So I actually brought this to my class. So I teach a weekly online class in real time, live, at emotionallysensitive.com. And Peggy is referring to a poem that I read this past Monday. So I decided to bring this practice to my students and see what they thought. And so this past week we did Rumi's poem called The Guest House, which, if you haven't read that poem yet, definitely after you watch this video, go and check that out, because it's beautiful. And I would be interested in your interpretation and if it resonates for you and what you get out of it and if you like it or don't like it. So definitely come back and let me know below this video if you're familiar with the Rumi poem, or if you go and take a look at it as a result of hearing about it today. And today, Peggy and everyone else who's watching now and on the replay, I came across another poem today during my meditation practice. So I have this thing on my phone, also known as an app. So I have this app on my phone called Insight Timer. Not sure if you guys are familiar with that, if any of you have downloaded it, if you've heard of it, you can let me know in the comments. Peggy's laughing at me. And it is awesome. It has a bunch of different options in there if you're wanting to practice mindfulness meditation. So there are actual guided meditations, and then, which is fantastic, by the way, if you're someone who isn't really a fan of sitting in the silence yet, or you want to mix things up with your practice. And there are tons of guided meditations that people have done from all around the world, and it's all free. And it includes sometimes people reading poems. So if this appeals to you, if you enjoy what we do today in this practice, then you might want to check that out so you can do more and more of it. And then the other thing that the app does is it has a beautiful sounding meditation chime, a timer bell, and you can set that to start at the beginning of your practice and at the end, and you can set it to... there are all different settings you can do to delay it, and all kinds of things. You'll have to play around with it, but it's really, really neat. And one of the things that I also love about it is that at the end of your meditation, it'll tell you, you just meditated with like 1,493 people on the planet, or however many were meditating at the same exact time as you using that app, and it shows the little circle of their face and their name, and your face and or whatever you put in for your photo and your first name will show to other people too. So it's this sense of community, it's this sense of connection. So it's a really beautiful thing. So as I was doing my own private practice today with the meditation of listening to poetry and sitting mindfully for a few minutes, which it was about 3 minutes or so at the pace that the poem was read when I listened to it. I listened to this poem, and as mindfulness, I printed it out because I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to practice together. As mindful as I was trying to be, I did notice, and I guess I mindfully noticed the thought come up, oh my gosh, people who follow DBT path are going to probably really resonate with this and like this and enjoy it. Some of the people. Some of you, you could probably say give or take, but take it or leave it. But some of you are probably going to really like this, okay? And it, as far as the gender pronouns, it is called She Let Go, and throughout the poem it's she. But if you're a he, then just insert that, and this is for you as well, okay? All right. Right, Candy. Candy's saying, how neat, the sense of community. Isn't that lovely that someone put this out there and that we can feel so connected to people all over the planet? And it doesn't matter if you're a brand new practitioner to mindfulness and meditation. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for eons. It doesn't matter if you set a practice for 2 minutes or 2 hours. You can connect with, just knowing that you're not alone and that someone else was sitting and holding space and breathing and their heart was beating and they were meditating at the same time as you. To me, it's really beautiful. And that's part of DBT actually as well, is to acknowledge our interconnectedness and acknowledge how we're a part of something so much bigger and we're connected to each other, and just the interconnectedness of everything. That can be really helpful if we struggle with intense emotions or emotion dysregulation or emotional sensitivity, is to remember we're not alone. Even though sometimes it can really feel that way, and in a literal sense, sometimes we are alone. We might not have a lot of friends or a lot of family or a big support system at any given point in our lives. And it might sound silly or like it would be ineffective to sit with and think about that interconnectedness that we have, though, to pretty much everything around us, all living things and the earth and the cosmos. But it can actually be really effective to lessen our suffering and our sadness, and to remind us that we are a part of something, and that even though we might be lonely in a given moment and not have all of the support and all of the people around us that we would hope to have, that doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. May not even be that way tomorrow. And it certainly doesn't have to be that way far into the future, because we can work on our lives and work on managing our emotions and work on building relationships so that we can have that. And in the meantime, we can take comfort in knowing that even in our flaws, even in our mess, no matter what's going on, we still matter and we're still connected to everybody and everything. So when you do the meditation with that app, it's really neat. It's kind of like a brief little quick reminder of that, but so important. So important, right? Thanks, Candy, for your comment. Peggy says, that sounds cool. What is the name of the app again? It's called Insight Timer. Insight Timer. And then, oh, hi, Karen. I'm glad you could join us today. All right, so for those of you joining us late, we are doing a mindfulness meditation practice right now together, where I am going to read a poem aloud, and you are invited to sit as comfortably as you can, wherever you're able to listen to this right now, in a safe environment. Obviously not streaming it in the car while driving or something like that, but sitting down somewhere totally able to relax and put everything else aside just for a few minutes for yourself. We're all busy. I get it. I know it. I can relate. And at the same time, we really need to do these things where we take this time and space. So get as comfortable as you can wherever you are right now, in a safe place to do a mindfulness meditation. Hi, Julia. Oh, I'm glad this is a good time for you. I'm glad this is something that you're welcoming, that this is good timing for you. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I have my poem here. You're getting comfortable. You're taking in some nice deep breaths, slowly inhaling and exhaling to just let the stress go. Let everything that led up to this minute to get you to this live video somehow stumbling upon it, happening to be on Facebook at this moment when I'm live streaming. It's no coincidence. It's kind of like, okay, this is my chance to get some mindfulness practice here in live real time with Debbie. Letting all that stuff go that happened before that got you here, and all the stuff you're going to have to do afterward when this live streaming is over in a few minutes. Just let all of that go as best as you can. Close your eyes if you'd like, or you can have a soft, gentle gaze. I like to tell my students they can look at the floor a few feet ahead of them, or at the table, or a boring spot on the wall, just to, you know, kind of not zoning out, but not getting overly stimulated either by the visual stimuli around. And I have the poem here. I'm going to read it. And then I have my iPad. And what I'm hoping is that I can see your comments on here as well when we're done with the poem, so that I can, yeah, I think I'll be able to. Excellent. All right. Oh, but they're not in order, I don't think, like they are on there. Okay, well, we'll just go with it. All right, so you're getting as comfortable as you can. You've taken some deep breaths. And what I'll do is I'll read the poem aloud, and notice whatever you notice about your experience. It could be a thought or many thoughts that come up. It could be a feeling or an emotion. It could be imagery in your head. It could be a sensation in your body. It could be one of so many things. Whatever comes into your awareness. When I'm done reading the poem, I'll ask you what you noticed, okay? All right, here we go. She Let Go by Reverend Sapphire Rose. She let go. Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around in her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all of the memories that held her back. She let go of all of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good, and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. So that was She Let Go by Reverend Sapphire Rose. What do you guys think? I'll give you a moment to sit in the residue of that. I need to grab a tissue actually, so let you sit in that for a moment. Not for crying, although it is a moving poem. It's my allergies. Let's see. Hi, Tazier. Tazier says, cool, thank you so much. You're very welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Julia, you're very welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it too. And Candy, you're very welcome. What a nice reading, she says. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Steph. Thank you, everyone, for sitting with us. Is anyone willing to share anything you noticed about your experience, knowing that I'm not going to judge you, we're not going to tolerate judgment or any kind of meanness in the comments here. There's no right or wrong. Just if you're willing to just put yourself out there just a little bit and mention one thing you noticed about your experience. And it might be something completely different. You might be like, well, let me wait and see what other people say. Other people have had a very completely different experience. This is what was going on inside of you. And then I'll check the comments down below and respond. And for those of you doing this who are watching this after the live streaming by recording, you can still leave your comment and I will come back and be responding to comments. But right now we're live in real time here on Tuesday, May 17th at 3:34 Pacific time. All right. Karen loves it. Yay. Awesome, Karen. Ooh, I just saw, did you guys see that? I didn't know they had something like that now where if someone gives it a thumbs up, it comes up. Look at that. That's so cute. All right. All right. I'm sorry. I got totally distracted and thrown off by that. Okay. Peggy says, I feel more connected with you, seeing you live. Oh, Peggy, thank you for that feedback. I think that's the power of video, isn't it? And live streaming. It's so cool. She says, so I am sure the same will go with the app. Yes, and when you're doing the app, it's actually audio. I haven't come across any videos. So when they're reading poems, you're getting the audio stream, but you don't actually see the person reading the poem. But I'm glad that you had a positive experience with me doing it. Peggy says, I felt like you were talking about me because I have quote unquote let go, but I needed DBT to get me there. Wonderful. Oh my gosh, Miss Peggy. Thank you so much for sharing. She said, wonderful poem. I enjoyed it. Excellent. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. You can Google it and print yourself a copy like I did as well, if you'd like, and just put it where you can see it and reflect on it and think about it. And you certainly have let go, Miss Peggy. I've been able to witness that and watch you blossom, as I like to say, and it's true. So let's see. Hey, Miss Julia says, it's nice to have people like you. Can't even read the rest of the sentence without being touched by that. Julia says, it's nice to have people like you. I am very sensitive, and it's nice to be in a place where I can have feelings surface without fear. Oh, I'm so glad that you feel that way, Julia. And that's the type of space that I like to hold, is that those of us who are emotionally sensitive, who might have BPD traits, who easily get emotionally dysregulated, I want to create, and that's my intention pretty much every week when I'm teaching and when I put videos up here and do things like this, is to create that space where we can come together and you can feel safe and you can feel like it's a place of non-judgment and that there's nothing wrong with you for having emotions and for being a sensitive person. I used to struggle with managing it, and that was a problem, and that's what DBT helped me with. But being a sensitive person who feels deeply is not a flaw. So I'm so glad to read that, Julia. I'm going to take a sip of water and then get back to comments here. So I recently took this online class as a student, and the teacher sips water all the time on camera. And she really modeled that for me, that because I would just go, 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 and my throat would get dry, and I wouldn't stop to take care of myself. And I'm like, oh, I need to be modeling and taking care of myself, modeling skillfulness and taking care of myself, including with taking sips of water. So I am releasing. She let go of the embarrassment of drinking water on camera and grabbing a tissue even. Self-care is very important, especially when you're a caretaker and in a caregiving role. And I consider this to be a caregiving role. I really adore you guys and care about you. And this is a form of caregiving. It's a modern form, right? Okay. Let's see. Christy, hello, Miss Christy, says, wishing I could just let it go without the drama and procedure. It made me long for that peace. Oh, so listening to that poem gave you a desire, it sounds like, Christy. It may have, it showed you a place where you're wanting to shift and change and grow, and where you're wishing that you could feel that sense of release too and let things go. And yeah, without drama and some procedure. It's like in the poem, she didn't do this, she didn't do that, she didn't have to ask like the mystics, she didn't have to, get advice from a million people, she didn't have to read a book on it, she just released and let go. And maybe practicing listening to that poem more than once, maybe that would be helpful for that, because that's what it speaks to entirely, right? All right. Thank you, Christy, for sharing. Okay. Hi, Steph. Miss Steph says, it definitely helped, as here it is nighttime. Hopefully it's cleared my head enough to sleep. Oh, that's so nice. Steph and anyone else, guys know I'm always playing with my hair. I see my, sorry for that. But Steph and anyone else, did anyone else feel like sort of like your inner child was happy to have someone read to you? Because I think that's one of the things that really appealed to me with listening to someone read poetry as a mindfulness meditation practice. I felt held. I felt taken care of. I didn't even have to read. I didn't, I could just sit there and listen. It was almost like a bedtime story. You know what I mean? It was like being read to as a child, and that was comforting, and it was soothing to me through sound. So I'm wondering if Steph or anyone else could relate to, especially since Steph was getting ready for bed and using it as part of her relaxation, if that went through anyone's head maybe as a thought. All right. I'm glad it helped clear your head, Steph. And then Candy says, the author seems to have hit on every means of control and planning that the girl in the poem could have had. It's so true. It's so true. Thanks for the little thumbs up. It was just like, oh, she's not doing this, she's not doing that. She's like, it doesn't have to be that complicated. And it's like easier said than done, right? Oh yes. But someone had this experience. This poem was written, and it's appealing to us for a reason, possibly because we know deep down inside that it really is about just letting go. And our minds and everything, all of our history that we bring to this moment tend to complicate that, right? And tend to make it like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to get this in order, I have to be perfect, I have to read every book, I have to follow every guru, or I have to do this. Just let go. Try it, just let go. All right. And it spoke to me too, by the way. Okay. Tazier says, I want to let go, but seem to be doing everything but letting go. If I'm to be really honest, I'm a bit jealous. Sorry, everyone. I don't think you're alone, Tazier. I think that is a very human, common experience. And when you say sorry, everyone, I'm sure not everyone here. I mean, we just had a couple of other people here talking about, like Christy, also wanting this, having this desire, and wanting to get there and not feeling there yet with letting go. So you're not alone. All right. Miss Peggy says, letting go is so liberating. Yes, it is. It's very empowering. And I love anything that is empowering for us. Hi, Nicole. Nicole says, thank you. Such an excellent reading choice. moved me to tears very early on because I think it hits home and made me think about letting go in a different way. Don't overthink it. I can give, and I have to expand that, I can give myself permission to just let it go, and I feel lighter. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Nicole. From the thoughts you had to the emotional expression with the tears to your aha moment, and you're moving toward more willingness to release and even feeling lighter are your words. And awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. It's beautiful. Julie says it helps us be brave even if we can't access the bravery. I love the way you put that. I love the way you put that. Excellent, Julia. Julia agrees. I think maybe because I'm behind on the comments, maybe with this idea of it felt like being read to, like we're like being a child again and having a story read to us. Peggy says, yes, I felt like a little girl with someone telling me how good I am doing. Validation. Ooh, a little heart. Do you guys see that? It's like, am I seeing things? Do you guys see images? Facebook is so funny. It's just like all of these little new features that they haven't had before. And here I am presenting, and I'm sure it's happening to other people. And they're like, oh my gosh, there's a little thumb going across the screen. There's a little heart going across the screen. Yes, yes. It doesn't tell me who's doing it, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. All right. Yes, and Candy understands what I meant too, and Steph and Tazier. And Julia's saying, my head always feels cluttered. Now, when I feel like a freshman, I'm healing. Let me reread that, Julia. She says, my head always feels cluttered. Now I feel like a freshman. I'm healing and letting go. I love the idea of you saying you feel like a freshman. In mindfulness practice, there's this concept of beginner's mind. So even if you've done a million meditations before, even if you're a Buddhist monk in, a monastery, they still believe that they are to approach things with a beginner's mind, as if it's all new each and every time, and that there's always something to learn. I'm that way with DBT. I've been studying DBT now for over 6 years, and I still go to DBT, and I still learn DBT, and I'm teaching DBT, and still I'm constantly learning something. I could end up going to class and be like, oh, this is so boring. But then I say, what might I learn today? My life is different. I am different than I was the last time that this lesson was taught. So what might come out of this? And so Julia is saying that her mind always feels cluttered, but she's looking at this as if she's a freshman. So she's like, it's like entering school, entering into a new school for the first time, and being present with things all over again. So I love that analogy, Julia. Hi, Jody. Jody says, I feel I really struggle with control issues. I don't really know why, though. I feel I never have control over my own life. Anyone else feel like that from time to time? Does anyone else? It's a big philosophical thing, and it's going to be different for everyone, but I know that a lot of people struggle with dysregulated emotions, because they want to feel in control of things that we don't have control over. And the big part of mindfulness is practicing being okay with that, because whether you're okay with it or not, it is reality. And if we can't acknowledge reality and accept the fact that almost everything is out of our control, except for how we choose to react and respond and behave and treat other people and treat ourselves, it's just really, it's one of the big components of mindfulness. And the control thing is us just trying to fight against that and trying to fix it. I've struggled in the past with disordered eating, and learned something about myself, that was about control. That was about what's the easiest way that I can feel in control of my life, and that was not a healthy choice. But I had compassion for myself, and I have compassion looking back on the past for that time where that's how I did try to have control in my life, because you know, that part was hurting and thought it made sense and it worked a little bit. So you're definitely not alone, Jody. And we don't even need to know the why. I think it's just a common experience across humanity. And one of the things that I have found the most effective with that need to control is to start bringing acceptance to those things that bother me, to those things that I have no control over. It's like trying to control the weather. Most things are like that. It's like we don't want to admit it. We don't want to think about the fact that we are not the master of the universe and that we can't orchestrate things and have everything, you know, neatly lined up and know the outcome of things and everything like that. So yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that though. All right. Tazier says, thank you for your kind words, Debbie. You're truly amazing. And put cute little emoticons. Thank you, Tazier. You're amazing too. You guys are all amazing. I'm so glad you would take time out of your day to stop scrolling through your feed and pause to be with me for a few minutes. It's just like, I'm honored, so thank you. Yeah, and Julia says, why am I inconsistent? Another human condition, right? I don't know the answer for that, but Julia, you've had so much inner wisdom and your wise mind has shown up in so many of your comments today and in your contemplation and in your reflections from the poem that I bet if you search within and maybe do some more sitting practice and, you know, talk to your therapist, talk to someone that you're working with, you can start to work on where that's coming from, that difficulty with being consistent and staying on the path that you want to stay on maybe, or being who you want to be, or whatever it may be. She says, that's okay, I'm still learning. The weather analogy helped. Excellent, excellent. I believe you'll find that answer within and with the right guidance and support from your therapist or, you know, the mental health practitioner that you're working with. And there's no shame in that. I was very inconsistent. I had no sense of identity before I was diagnosed with BPD and started getting DBT training. And just so much of good has come out of it. You hear me talking about it constantly from every direction. And that's why I teach it now. And Julia and anyone else who is interested, if you ever want to check out my classes and come study with me, I do a weekly class online in real time at DBT Path, which is emotionallysensitive.com. So you can definitely check that out after this video if you want. And if you have questions about it after you visit the site, pop them down below and I'll definitely answer. Hi, Brittany. Brittany says, I found your videos on YouTube after being diagnosed borderline 6 months ago. When will your online classes be starting? I can't wait to start the process of feeling better with DBT. Yeah, what am I doing? I'm on camera, I'm live. Yes, Brittany, thank you for asking. The next class starts on June 13th and registration opens the first week of June. If you're afraid you're not going to remember and you want to get a reminder, when you go to emotionallysensitive.com on the classes page, there's a little button that says sign me up, and when you fill it out, I'll send you reminders via email as soon as it opens so that you can definitely get on the registration. I almost can't believe how many people have been like becoming interested in doing this for this next round in June. So if you're concerned about getting a spot, definitely sign up for the email list so that I can let you know. And the second it goes registration goes live, you can sign up. Brittany, I'm so excited. I'm gonna get to work with you and you're gonna be in my class. And I love when people are jazzed about DBT. I love when people are excited about doing something proactive and learning the skills and are motivated and ready to work. That's my ideal student. So Brittany, I'm really looking forward to working with you. Peggy says I'm making her laugh. Oh, I know. I just candid on camera. Wasn't there a show called Candid Camera? I remember something vaguely. All right, guys. Any other questions or thoughts about this poem, She Let Go, that I read a little bit if you were on at that time? Any questions or thoughts about doing mindfulness practice, meditation with poetry? Anyone willing to give it a try? Maybe go and find another poem that you love and come back here and share it with me, and maybe I can read it on a future video. Is this something you'd like to do regularly? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Comments, comments, comments. Let's see. Miss Brittany says, so great, thank you. I registered last month, so I'll be looking forward to the update when the class opens up. Excellent, excellent. It's not too far away. We're already at May 17th, and it opens the registration opens the first week of June, so you don't have to wait much longer. Miss Peggy says, Brittany, I will be in the class also. Hope to see you. Peggy is a veteran. I don't know. I'm just like dancing with myself over here because I get so excited. But Miss Peggy, how long have you been in my weekly class? Because you can keep taking it. You don't, some people love it and want to stay connected and want to keep learning and have that beginner's mind and take the same modules even a year later because they know they're in a different place and they can learn so much more. So Miss Peggy will answer that question in a moment. Julia says, I love that you are live on Facebook. Me too. I love it. I love that we can do this. It's so cool. Jody says, yes, something I would like to do regularly. Excellent. So that's one vote for doing this a little bit more frequently. So whenever I find an inspiring poem, I can start collecting them, and then we can sit together and do this for those of you who are interested. Peggy, over a year, almost two. She's been in my class for almost 2 years, and she's not the only one who sticks around. So, and I adore you, Peggy. I'm so glad that I get to work with you, and gosh, how I've seen you grow, and learn the skills. And I have someone who I've learned from outside of the DBT world, and I thanked her recently for helping me because I had an accomplishment that I was proud of, and I reached out to her and I said, thank you so much for being an inspiration and being a part of my journey. And she said, I just lit the coals and you walked on the fire, girl. So I say that to Peggy and anyone who comes through my class. I just light the coals and you walk the fire. It's kind of I love analogies if you can't tell, but it's kind of a good one. You're welcome. You're welcome, Miss Peggy. Anything else, anyone? I'm just looking at the time. I have to wrap it up in a couple of minutes, but I just want to stay on for another moment or two in case anyone has any final thoughts on the poem or this type of mindfulness practice, etc., etc. Going once. Going twice. How about a bunch of those hearts and thumbs up things? Maybe we can get those going across the screen. How do you do that even? I don't even know how you guys do that when we're on live. There's one, there's two. Oh yes, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's kind of like Periscope. Are any of you guys familiar with Periscope? I used to do that on Twitter, but not a lot of people were on there. So yes, I love it. I wonder if you guys can see this in the replay. Will you tell me in the comments if you can see all these little things where people are pressing and engaging? Peggy says, one more time, the app name. It's called Insight Timer. And if you guys do download it and you fall in love with it as much as I did, I also want to hear about that. So definitely come back and comment about that. All right, Julia. Awesome. You can see him too, Jody? Okay. It's kind of like one of those funny moments. Like, can you guys see them? No, we can't, Debbie. What are you seeing down there? All right, guys. Okay, good. Peggy wrote it down this time. Candy says, I don't see them, but it's nice to see your cheerful reaction. Thanks, Candy. Authentically me. On live, you just can't do anything else, right? Okay, guys. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. Be sure to catch me again. Hopefully, we'll be on at the same time when I do another live one. I have other things coming up that I'm planning to do for you guys. I want to do one of these or a webinar on the subject of if you have difficulty at work because you have problems regulating your emotions. So that's another thing I'd love to see down in the comments, even after I finish this live stream, and you can continue to comment. If you could comment and let me know, what are the things you struggle most with as an emotionally sensitive person or a person with BPD traits in the workplace. And I'll gather all of that up and create an awesome live stream to talk to you guys about that, okay? All right, guys. You're welcome. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the night, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.